You
Ain't lying.
you're gonna have to
You
buy a
know
cow.
what?
All right. We give y'all all glory, all praise, Israel, north, south, east, and west. Wherever the Yah has had you what? Scattered.
Praise Yah, all ye nations.
We give him glory today for this blessed Shabbat.
Kindness is great.
We give him glory and honor.
Praise Yah, all ye people. Strength of Yah endureth forever.
Come on, let's praise him. He is worthy of all praises. Come on, let's praise his holy name.
Hallelujah.
Come on, lift up your voice.
Lift up your voices and sing. Give praise when you call him.
Give praise when you call him.
For he is worthy.
Yes, he is. When you think about his mercy, his greatness towards you, and towards us as a people, that should do something to you. A praise should come out of your mouth. Hallelujah. Y'all, we thank you for your people today. As you rain down your blessings, your spirit of understanding, Father, we receive you today. We receive the Ruach, your teacher in this earth, to lead and guide us through the truth of your word. We thank you. We thank you for those, hallelujah, that's seeking you. Father, we thank you. We praise that they will find the truth as you have led us to your divine truth through your word. We thank you right now. We understand that we have been lied to. We come up with a whole lot of lies. Matter of fact, we was taught to disobey you. But Father, now we have learned your truth. And we realized what we was doing wasn't even close. We was going the wrong way. And just like you brought us out, Father, I thank and I praise you for bringing our brethren out of it. You know the heart of those that were here. Therefore, we give your name glory, praise, and honor. Come on, let's praise. We thank and we praise him. He is so worthy. So worthy of the praise. We thank and we praise him today. Shabbat Shalom. We give all praises to Yah. And we thank him. And we going to get into we got a little travel to do today. Hallelujah. As you can see, our message for today, I'm going to open this up a little bit until people start coming in. I'll check back in a minute. We give him glory and praise and honor. Curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All these lies and delusions wake us up, y'all. Show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened. All the lies. Oh, yes. We're going to be in the 31st chapter of Ezekiel. Talk about the cookie is crumbling today. We can't be sleeping on this stuff now. The word say when he come, they'll be married, giving him married. They'll be doing everyday life. So that let us know we don't know the day or the hour that the Messiah shall appear. But when he appear, we know we shall be like him. Oh, we give him glory. Those who have committed themselves unto the ways of the Most High. I'm always amazed. I think about that thing, Sister Lewis, that we say often. And we was coming in church, we were waiting on, we were walking in the truth for the word. And when you learn the word, we found out we wasn't even close. That's true. We keeping all the holidays, the holidays they gave us. So we was doing the will of the Most High. Yep, that's so true. We start to do the opposite of what he say do. Yeah, that's true. And that's why people get so burned out. Because we found out they didn't want to talk about the law. No, they didn't want to give you laws. Yeah. Because their laws don't line up. Their whole job was to eliminate the laws and the statutes and the commandments of Yah and give us theirs. And that's what they do right now today. We're just trying to wake up now. Oh, we give him glory. Wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened. I am awakened. Oh, we give him glory. Hallelujah. All the lies and illusions. Wake us up. Yes, it's a journey. It is a journey. Oh, with that said, we going to get into the word today, giving y'all all praise and glory. All right. Mr. Luz, you get a chance to go ahead on and start reading in the book of Ezekiel.
All righty. Ezekiel 31st chapter,
Mm-hmm.
beginning with the first verse. And it reads, And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the third month, and in the first day of the month, that the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, verse 2, Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and to his multitude, whom art thou like in thy greatness? Verse 3, Behold, the Assyrians was a cedar in Lebanon, with
Mm-hmm.
fine branches, and with a shattering shrine, and of a high statue, and his top was among the thick barrels. Verse 4, The waters made him great, the deep set him up on high, with her rivers running round about his plants, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field. In verse 5, Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his burrows was multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of water when he shot forth. You want me to continue?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, verse 6. All the fowls of Shammah in heaven made their nests in his burrow, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelled all great nations. Verse 7. Thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. Verse 8. The cedars in the garden of Elohim could not hide him. The fern tree was not like his burrow, and the chestnut trees was not like his branches. Not any tree in the garden of Elohim was like unto him in his beauty. Verse 9, I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that all the trees of Eden that was in the garden of Elohim envy him. Verse 10, Therefore thus says Yahweh Elohim, because thou hast lifted up thyself in height, and he has shot up his top among the thick barrels, and his heart is lifted up in his height. Verse 11, I have therefore delivered him into the hands of the mighty one of the heathen. He shall surely deal with him. I have driven him out for his wickedness. Verse 12, and the strangers, the terrible of the nation, have cut him off and have left him. Upon the mountains and in all the valleys, his branches are fallen, and his burrows are
His
broken.
bows.
Are broken by the rivers of the land, and all the peoples of the earth are gone down from his shadow and have left him. Verse 13, upon his ruin shall all the fowls of the Shabbaim heaven remain, and all the beasts of the field shall be upon his branches. 14, to the end that none of all the trees by the river, by the water, exalt themselves for their height, not to shoot up their top among the thick burrows. neither their trees stand up in their height, all that drink water, for they are all delivered unto death, and to the nether part of the earth, in the midst of the children of men, with them that go down to the pit. 15. Thus said Yahweh Elohim, in the day when I went down to the grave, I caused a mourning. I covered the deep for him, and I restrained the floods thereof, and the great waters were stayed. And I caused Lebanon to mourn for him, and all the trees of the field fainted for him. 16. I made the nation to shake at the sound of his fall, when I cast him down to hell, with them that descend into the pit, and all the trees of Eden, the choice and the best of Lebanon, all that drink water, shall be comforted in the neither place of the earth. Verse 17. When I they also went down into hell with him, unto them that be slain with the sword, and they that were his arm, that dwell under his shadow in the midst of the heathen. 18. To whom art thou thus like a glory in the greatness among the trees of Eden? Yet shalt thou be brought down with the trees of Eden into the nether parts of the earth. Thou shalt lie in the midst of the uncircumcised with them that be slain by the sword. This is Pharaoh and all his multitude, says Yahweh Elohim.
All right. Hopefully, we're going to get through all this today, which is not a lot here, but I got other things I'm going to be talking about in reference to this as the Holy Spirit leads. We see again here, like I say, we're in the series of Ezekiel, bringing a prophecy first about what's going on with us as a people, and the next step is what is happening, what's going to happen, was going to happen, and is happening as we speak to the enemy, the heathen. And it says here, it starts off and tells him, and it came to pass. That means this prophecy had come to pass. Listen what he's saying. And it came to pass. We see it coming to pass right now, a lot of it. And he began to tell you at this point in the 11th year. And then goes on to tell you the third month, where in the Hebrew calendar, that would be around May. In the first day of the month, which would probably run around about the 25th and 26th of May. That's when the first of the month will start. It don't start on the first and first. Hebrew mostly breaks down in the middle of the month or near the end, because they always coincide with each other. It's split. He said that the word of Yahuwah, Elohim the Messiah, came unto me saying. Then he says, Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Because Pharaoh, all of Pharaoh considered themselves as a god.
Yes, they did.
And we know, according to the word of the Most High, there shall be no other God besides him.
That's right.
So when one starts claiming that he is a Pharaoh, what he's standing up and declaring is he's a God.
Mm-hmm.
And now the word of the Most High coming to him. And he says, Son of man, speak unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And not only speak to him, you speak to his multitude, the one that's following him too. It's not only just for him, it's for those that has attached themselves to him.
That's right.
See, I always tell people you blessed by association, you also cursed by association too.
That's true.
He said, "Whom art thou like in your greatness? Who
Hmm.
who you like? Who art thou like in thy greatness? You trying to be like me? You think you have the kind of power I have? You honestly think you have this kind of control that I have?" And he says, "Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar." Now the father giving an example. You think you was up there. You think you got it going on. Let me give you some background of who I am. He said, "Behold, look, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon." They wasn't something to break away too. They thought they was up there too.
Oh yeah.
And with fair branches, they look good too. They was all put together as you think you are. He said, with a shadowing shroud, and of a high stature. They was powerful. They was something to look upon as well. And his top was among the thick boughs. He said the water made him great. What did I say about the water last week? Because they was around the water, they had trade. They was merchant cities. These were merchant cities. And every time you see the merchant cities, you can almost rest assured that is a city that is prosperous. He said, "Behold, the Assyrian was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches and with a shadowing shroud." They had some covering too, and in a high stature, and his top was among the thick boughs. And he said, "The waters made him great, the deep set him up on high, with his rivers running round about his plants, and sent out what? Her little rivers unto the trees of the field." She had everything possible that was going for her. And see what's happening with the most time, the most kings and most people that in authority, when the father give them a blessing or bless them and bring them up to a place, they get the big head. They
Mm-hmm.
begin to get puffed up and called. See, it's a dangerous thing when I tell people, when somebody gets some money, they start acting up. No, the real them show up.
Yeah, that's true.
That's honestly just who that person was. They just needed that just revealed the true individual. When power is extended, you begin to know the real person. If he's humble, if he's really a humble person, when he get riches, he's still gonna just be humbly rich. Wealthy. Some people are so humble and so wealthy, you won't even know it if nobody tell you.
That's true.
And then there's some that get wealth, and then everybody know because they get puffed up and they begin to say what they done.
Mm-hmm.
And here the father is giving the Pharaoh in Egypt some backgrounds, or you think you the first one. He said you need to look at Assyrian. There was what? A cedar. They was solid. In Lebanon, that cedar is a beautiful tree. It's a tough tree with fair branches and with what? A shadowy shroud and of a high stature. And his top was among the thick boughs. He was up there too. I want you to understand he was there too. And I looked into this Syrian because the Syrians really are what we call the Celtic people. Let me get over here. What they actually called them the Cimbri, or the Cimbrians. And the Cimbri were an ancient tribe in Europe. They were ancient authors described their, they variously they was what as a Celtic people, or you can call them the Gaulish. They basic was the Germanic people, or even they call it Sumerian. See, when we put these people in perspective, we can put them in the country of where this was happening. In those areas, we can understand this nature of people and where we see some of these people come from today with that same boisterous spirit they have. That's why they think they are even now superior. So it just didn't show up today. This is their history. Going back to where, and see, they hide these words of who they are. So if we don't look for these words, we will never find the people. They already told you they also was known as the Celtics and also the Gaulish or the Germanic people. And to the last one, the Sumerian people. But the word here to call them what? The Syrian. So we have to understand that when we see these people, we begin to see who they are and where their location at. He said the waters made them great. The deep set him up. Listen what he said. He got the pocketbook. He said the deep set him up on high, with her rivers running round about his plants, and set out her little rivers unto the trees of the field. So she ended up very wealthy. He let them know Syria was wealthy too. These Baltic or these Celtic people that we find out they were the Celtics. They were Germanic people. Were the same ones that line what in today that we see. So when we know the historical facts of these things and we understand who we're dealing with, we begin to understand that we understand the behavior of them, and we're not surprised. Then he says, but finish reading that, with her river running round about his plant, and sent out her little rivers unto the trees of the field. Therefore, he says, his height was exhausted above all the trees of the field, and his boughs were multiplied, and his branches became long because of the multitude of waters. In other words, his wealth grew because of the trade, because of the expansion, and because of the ability for the people to come into them. If you notice here, and I don't want you not to notice, you begin to see there is a pattern here. In Ezekiel, he was sent to all these ones that had built up and from the trade and had got boasters begin to think now they're gods, and they was in authority. I don't care who we are or where we may be. It is the Father that give us power to get wealth. So we have to understand it. Let me go over here and see if there's anyone over here.
Yeah, Sophia.
Shalom, Sister Sophia. Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. I was just bringing this down, but make sure so everybody can see it better today. But I'll keep coming back and make sure. And then he began to tell us, therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his bows were multiplied. In other words, his bows, his army. You know, all these ones that really think they're in charge, they have an army. You notice that, right? Mm-hmm. They have a military with them. And he said his branches became long because of the multitude of waters. And when he shot forth. In other words, his influence. Let's think about where we sit at now. Our influence, America's influence, goes out way beyond what? America. They influence a whole lot of countries, and that's what he's saying here. They did the same thing that you're doing. And I want you to get an understanding. They had influence as well, and they had their armies as well, and they had their riches as well. They had their power as well. And he said, all the fowls of heaven, number 6, have made their nest in his bowls, his influence. They have come and they have what? Taken up, and they, in other words, when they go to these here summits and they begin to get partnership with each country, this word say, all the fowls of heaven made their nest in his bowls. And those are limbs also. And under his what? His branches did what? All the beasts of the field bring forth their young. And under his shadow dealt in all great nations. In other words, all of them what? Got in cahoots with what the one that was in power. See, because there's many little countries don't have the power that we have as Americans. Therefore, they will come in partnership along with the ones that's in power. And therefore, the ones that's in power dictate to the little ones what they can and cannot do. Because now you're a partnership with me. You're going to do it the way I do it. So you can find Italy, but you can find a little Italy in New York. You can find all these other little places, but you find a little place represent, and you can tell that the representation of them, because when you go there, you're going to see similarity of how the city was laid out or built. So we have to understand that. See, many people don't even know the historical of where we are, because the same architecture laid out. The Savannah laid out, because this was supposed to be an extension of Savannah. They laid out this Brummage the same way. So that's why you see the little roundabout, little parks, and we only got one or two of them. But it's built up on the same architect, because this was a waterfront. It's supposed to be larger than what it were. So we got to understand when they partnership with these other countries, they become the extension of them. And he's allowing them to understand that you think you have power. I've got to give you let me give you my resume. And that's what we see. Now, that's why I've said the cookie is crumbling just like they crumble. And we know who this Egypt is, just like the other one crumbled. You going down as well. He said, all the fowls of heaven, number 6, made their nest in her bowls. And under his branches did what? All the beasts of the field bring forth their young. And under his shadow dwelt what? All great nations. See, the thing is, they're great by themselves. Isn't that amazing? That's what's wrong with us. We feel like we need someone else to tell us great. But you don't know that you already great. You will go look for somebody else to tell you you're great. If you don't establish now that what's living on inside of you has made you great, which is the Ruach, you will find yourself going out trying to find someone to tell you how great you are. Trying to get approval from someone else. He's telling they was great nation themselves, but yet they didn't understand how great they were, but they were under him, so they fell with him. So let's go into this a little further. Back in Ezekiel 17 tells us in 23, say, in the mountain of the heights of Israel will I plant it. and it shall bring forth boughs and bear fruit, and be a goodly cedar. And under it shall dwell all fowls of every wing. In the shadow of the branches thereof shall they dwell. In other words, when the Father built the place, even when there was a centralized place, everybody could take advantage of it. Everybody was able to come in, and I know at the beginning of this, I read about how even Jerusalem, everybody would come in and trade. They could come and trade with you, and Jerusalem will trade with them. We know they did, because did not the woman called so in the book of I'm trying to think which one of well they threw. Oh man, I know it's in the book of, not Jeremiah, in the book of Numbers. Anyway, it's where no, I think it's Job, where where they actually threw the peoples out of the temple. No, it wasn't Job. It was in the book of it'll come to is evading me right now. But where he came in, Nehemiah, the book of Nehemiah, where he came in and he threw the peoples out of the temple.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the on the Shabbat, they're trying to trade. So they knew there was a trading place. They would come in and they would trade with Israel, and Israel would trade with them, but he shut them down. And I'll think of the name in a minute, but it evaded me right now. But in Daniel 4:12 said, told her, the leaves thereof was fair. It was a beautiful place, and the fruit thereof much, a prosperous place, and in it was meat for all. He said the beasts of the field had shadow under it, and the fowls of the heaven dwelt in the boughs thereof, and all flesh was fed of it. So we can see that, we can put that right now in this place where we sit now, because what America does, they are, every time there's a disaster, who runs to feed everybody? Who sends out money towards those countries? Who are the ones that send what they call the Red Cross and all around the world? Because of the disaster, because they have attached themselves to this America. And that it Daniel giving you the idea of what happens when they are attached to the one they think what they can get their resources from, that they deem where all the power is, so they attach themselves to that particular one, and they look to them to be their resource instead of looking to the Most High Elohim. And by them doing that, it make the one that they are attached to get puffed up, thinking they are gods. And they are more superior than the other. But as we begin to examine it, we are going to find out, just because the word is already telling, because their cooking is going to crumble, it's crumbling now. And there will be nobody to be attached to nobody. And then Daniel number 4:21 say, whose leaves were fair and fruit. That's reading the same thing. Let's go to Matthew's. Matthew 13:32 say, which indeed is the least of all seeds. But when it is grown, he talk about the mustard seed. It is the greatest among herbs, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lodge in the branches thereof. I don't know how many people ever planted a mustard green. Because when you plant a mustard green is the smallest of all the plants. Of all the seeds there are. And I was planting some the other day, and I was like, wow. I said, wow, this thing here is this mustard seed, you can barely put it in your hand, it's so little. But this is biblical, this is a biblical understanding. As small as it is, when you put it in the ground, it become what? A tree. And birds, it says, can land under it. It can crouch under it for shade. And this is what he is doing here. He's giving them an idea that that these nations had gotten to the place of wealth to all the other little nations now can what come under that nation. But what happened with that is the one that it come under gets puffed up and begin to think that they are what? They're greater than the Elohim. And with their dark powers, they think they can control everything. But they don't understand that this cookie is beginning to crumble. And the Father allowing us to see it with what? Our own eyes. Therefore, we give him what? Glory and honor for his what? His majesty, and to show everybody who he is. This ain't nothing new under the sun where this here spirit get puffed up. Ezekiel giving us a rundown of what he had prophesied, and he prophesied him what? For this day. That's why he said, it come to pass. We begin to see this thing happen. We're looking at it. We have a front row seat at it, what's happening right now. Then he gets here in number 7. He said, thus was he fair in his greatness, in the length of his branches. See what these countries do, they come together and they form a what? Allegiance. So allegiance, so they can gain power. They can empower one another. So if someone comes out against one, if all the armies again will come out against that nation. Well, isn't it ironic? Ain't nobody came against the nation over there now yet.
Mm-mm.
And they watching all this, and well, we know they're doing a lot of lying on the TV. I ain't see nobody said nothing over there to stop what? Stop this other one, this other tyrant. They're dealing with these other tyrants. So that's all they are all together. But have you seen anybody come out there against them? Because we know this. We got plenty of allies. Many allies with this country. But have they come together to go over there? No. Because this is a court order by the Most High Elohim. Because the cookie is beginning to crumble. It is time for what? For it to go down. And he said it's cedar. Wait a minute. Thus says Yah. Number 7, let me go back to number 7. Thus was he fair in greatness, in the length of his branches, for his root was by great waters. And we know the roots are by great waters. If you go in any major city in these U.S., we know they were planted by what? Great waters. We know that. We sit between two. We sit between Savannah and their ports, and we sit between Jacksonville and their ports. Even right where we sit is a port, because that's where they bring in all the cars. Ships come in and out of here all day long, all week long, bringing in cars and everything from other countries to be processed here and to be shipped out and sold. And that brings any city, wealth, whether they want to say it or not. And because of that, it make them get the big head. Number 8 say the cedars in the garden of Yah could not hide him. Oh, listen to that. He got so big. Now you get so big till you can't be hidden. He said the cedars in the garden of Yah could not hide him. The fir trees were not like his boughs, and the chestnut trees were not like his branches. Nor any tree in the garden of Yah was like unto him in his beauty. Let's go into this. See, when the Father allows you to rise up, when he allows you to be blessed, when he allows you to take part in the wealth of his world, and when we get blown out of, because so many people just lose it when they get a little bit of wealth. He said, thou hast, Ezekiel 28:13, he said, thou hast been in Eden, the garden of Elohim. Every precious stone was thy covering. He said, the sardis, the topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. He said, the workmanship of the tabernacle and of the pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. The Father made us rich in the day when we got here. Wealth belonged to us. But in this case, we messed it up. As a people, now we see the same thing. And that's what I like about this word. This word is just not for the righteousness of Yah, is not just for the righteousness of Israel, it's for righteousness for everybody. It ain't no law for Israel and a law for the heathen. It's a law for all. That one law sets everybody in order. And he said in Genesis 13:10 tells us, say, and Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plain of Jordan, that it was well watered. In other words, there's water, there's some prosperity there. There's a chance that you can grow there. Because if there's a body of water, if it's in that place, it's under the ground where crops can grow. He said, everywhere before Yahuwah or the Messiah destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, even as the garden of the Messiah like the land of Egypt. As thou comest unto Zoar. In other words, it was beautiful. But when the Father got through, it was nothing. He brought it down. As we can see, the most dangerous thing that anybody could do is to be puffed up. Was it be Israel or was it be non-Israel before the Most High? Because he don't deal with those ones that are puffed up and think they done it. There's a day that he's coming, that he will bring down the high minds. Psalm 80:10 say, the hills were covered with shadow of it, and boughs thereof were like the what? The goodly cedars. And let's go into this word bough. The boughs of bows. Y'all know that bows of holly. Y'all know that, right? That's where they get their Christmas song from. And they take these things and they sing about them. Literally. In main branch, we know the main branch is apple boughs laden with blossoms. But we want to know what it says, what it means in the Hebrew. It's called porah, a bough. Porah, a bough, original word, part of speech, is a feminine word. Anytime you see a feminine word, that means it produces. The bough produces what? Branches. The branch a lot of time produces the fruit because the fruit grows from the branch. He said the concordance anah, a branch, bow, original word, part of speech, now masculine. And the strength of it is what? Because now, if you use it in this term, it's a male because now it's what we call of the strength and the power of it. So it can be used in two terms. The Hebrew word, they got katiza, short definition of bough, branches, or harvest. It always, if we see it's always going to will be producing either strength or it's going to be producing wealth. Back over here, let's come out of that. Back over here. He said the hills were covered with the shadow of it, and the boughs thereof were like the goodly cedar. Isaiah 51:3 said, tell us also concerning this. For the Messiah shall comfort Zion This is the Messiah talking. He will comfort all her waste places. And we have many of them. Many of our, everywhere we go to build, here come the enemy. He will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of what? The Messiah. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody. See, when the Father began actually to turn things around for his people, we will begin to understand that the Father is, which we see now. Now we begin to see that the Father is turning things around for us. And I keep saying it, I'll say it every day if I have to. As we ride, as they go down, as they crumble, we go up. But the word is telling us right here that the Father, he will cover us in all the waste places. And he will make what our wilderness like Eden, in our desert, that dry places like a garden of the Messiah. Joy and gladness was going to be found in us. Thanksgiving. See, we got sense enough to give y'all praise and thanks him for what? For what he doing for us, where other ones don't have no sense. They stand up and say they done it. We're gonna put that thanksgiving down in our heart, because the first thing we do something for one another, the first thing coming out of our mouth, oh, thank you. You didn't have to do it. I thank you so much. But you got people you can do something for, they never say thank. They go on like you have. You have to do it. Or they're entitled to it. And they will holler, but what I got to thank them for? See, that's the entitled mentality. He said, her desert like the garden of Yahweh. Joy and gladness shall be found therein. Thanksgiving and the voice of melody. You know we're going to be singing. That's one thing about us as a people. We will be singing when we joyous. I think that's why the whole world mock us. They try to mock us, but they want to be like us. They don't understand the joy. It don't take much for y'all's true people, his true remnant, to be full of joy. Here's what the child said. She said last week. Going on and killing themselves, have 100,000 in the bank. We got a negative $300-something, and we dancing. He said Genesis 2:8-9 said, and Yahweh Elohim planted. This is what it said. He planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And if he did it once, y'all, he gonna do it again. He letting us know, I am gonna do it again for my remnant. You're gonna start getting wealth even here. You're gonna start being built up here. But don't get settled in that place, because your eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered into your heart the greatness, the good things that Yah has in store for them that love him. And not only love him, because you can't love him unless you're doing his what? His will, his commandments. That's how he equates you loving him. He said Ezekiel 31, which we are at now. And I'm not even going to read that because we'll be on those two verses in a minute. Psalms 37-35 say, I have seen the wicked in great power. This is David talking. I don't see this wickedness, and we see it every day. That's letting us know it's nothing new under the sun. He saw it once, it is before us right now. I have seen the wickedness in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree all over the land, everywhere they go. Isaiah 10:7-14 say, we're not going to read it all, just the first verse. Howbeit he meaneth not so, neither does his heart think so, but it is in his heart to destroy. Isn't that something? The Father letting us know it's in the heart of the enemy to destroy. I don't know how. Let me open this up. He said it's in the enemy's heart, what? To destroy. and to cut off the nation and not a few. They won't stop if they don't. They've been doing this thing to the people of the Most High way before what? Before the Atlantic trade, and all
Mm.
these acquisitions that they bought us over, and all the Spaniard and all these things. They've been doing this to his peoples a long before then. They have been what? Coming out to destroy his people a long time. But he said, howbeit he meaneth not so, neither does he his heart think so. He think that he's going to get away with it. He's going to continually to destroy y'all's people and get away with it. It ain't even in his heart that there's going to be a day of reckoning. Because if he did, he'll stop it. Because if he did, he will go and bump innocent people for their possessions. So that's all it's about. Or to make sure to let know we the one in control. How many of y'all know that they've been bombing Somalia with it? This is just a front.
Long time.
That they did this like what 2 or 3 weeks ago. Did the
Mm-hmm.
news say you anything about it? No.
Doing a lot of things long time.
When they trust me, that's one clue that we need to understand. When they putting all this stuff in the news and they trying to make all this stuff, you better understand they're up to something more sinister than what that is. Because that's what I just said earlier. If they such ally with this other country, why they're not over there fighting with them or standing on that border with them? And they going through the street bombing. Why they're not there to stop them from bombing? All this is just smoke screen for what they're doing behind the screen. And trust me, if they're doing it behind the screen, it's about you. What they trying to do what? To you as y'all's people. Because this war is about the enemy and his people. And then he says in Isaiah 36 and 4, it says, and Rabshakeh said unto them, say ye now to Hezekiah, thus says the great king, what? The king of Assyria. Now we talking about Syria again. And we know he brought them down. What confidence is this within thou your truth is? Who you be? You think he gonna help you? He talking to Hezekiah. He was talking that with what you call sailing wolves. You think your God gonna save you from me? See, that's what we say. We walk in the truth of the Most High Elohim. Oh, they mock us. You think they're not mocking us because we standing up now, but believe it or not, they already know your history. They already understand what's happening, and therefore they're cooking up some stuff. Because it always go back to what? The lineage of the Most High Elohim. They are angry with them, therefore we are his, and they're angry with us. They're not over there trying to destroy the ones that over there say they are, and they're not. They know the true people that they brought over here. They understand who the true one is. He's Isaiah 37:11 say, behold, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the lands by destroying what? Them utterly. See, their thing is to go out and destroy everything if they don't kill you, they don't kill you physically, they're gonna kill you economically. They're gonna destroy the land where you can't produce anything. He said, thou hast heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the lands by destroying them utterly. And shall thou be delivered? He asking. That's some mess. He asking, are you gonna survive? And then when I done all this into these other countries, Boy, I'm telling you, we are right in the thick of things. We are right in the middle of all. We seeing this stuff take place. Let us not go back to sleep. Let us be vigilant and understand what's happening around us right now. This is biblical. How did I know I will be teaching
Yeah,
this
yeah,
series
what the
as this stuff is unfolding? But y'all knew. He said, number 9 said, I have made him fair by the multitude of his branches, so that what? All the trees of Eden that were in the garden of Yah envied him. Now you know they have built up some wealth. They have built up a empire. That's why you don't get all twisted because somebody over there built up and they looking all smuffy and they looking, you don't know what they done to get what their wealth. They looking nice and shiny, look like they got it going on, but you don't know how many people they done destroyed and what they have torn down to get where they are, because that's the mindset. That's why the word say they don't even consider. They don't even think about how bad it is that they have go around and kill people. They have no clue. He said, number 10 said, therefore, thus says Yahuwah Elohim, because thou hast lifted up thyself in height, because you got puffed up, and he had what? Shot up his top among the thick boughs, and his heart lifted up in his height. I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heathen. See, the Father always will raise up one tougher than the other. When all the time, I'm Miss Sheikah, and all the time that we begin to see and understand that they think they're tougher, but the Father now has raised up someone else that's more deadly than they are. That's why they ain't over there bumming.
That's right.
They know not to go up over there. Because they got more missiles than the U.S. do.
I want her to write a book.
And he said, I have what? Therefore delivered him into the hands of the mighty one of the heathen, and he shall surely, listen what he's saying, the cookie is crumbling. He said he will surely deal with him. I have driven him out for what? His wickedness. Just like he's driven the other kingdoms out and tore down the other kingdom, this one is coming down.
Yes, it is.
And it's coming down because of what? Yah's people.
Yes, it is.
His true people.
That's right.
Not the one that say ish. But the ones listen, they can do all what they do. But this thing about his true people.
That's right.
Because they the ones set that up over there.
Yes, how about that?
And Revelation the 17 tell us, and they say they are, but they're not. But they'll be the children of the synagogue of Satan. Do we not know that Satan got synagogues running around here?
Yes, you do.
Built all around here, and a lot of that's why a lot of these ones that look like us is out here not willing to teach the truth. And they know what the truth is. That is nothing but we call a synagogue of Satan. See, it ain't just in Rome.
Oh no. That's the truth.
He got them things set up all around the USA. It is to what? Bring down the people's mind, that to bring them from the divine truth. Because his job is what? To steal, kill, and destroy. And what do you can steal, kill, and destroy is the laws and statutes and the commandments of the things that we are supposed to be doing. That's truth.
Right. That's right. Yes, it is the truth.
Is to take our divine truth and give us their truth and give us their laws and say you can do the you can run behind an Easter egg, you can do a rabbit, you can do you can do the trees, you can do all these things. And all of those are set dead against the things of the Father has given us. But he said this country, this generation won't remember. But what he has done, hallelujah. He said, I'm going to put the spirit down in them. I'm going to cause them to remember who they are, and they're going to come back to me. And I'm going to start teaching them what their divine historical truth is.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we rise up in this divine truth, trust me, we have the authority in the earth when we begin to rise up in the truth, because that's what the truth does. It diminishes it diminishes the enemy. It renders him powerless. And this fight is about power. Let's see who will come in so I can. So we got to understand it ain't about us. It's about the things of the Most High. He trying to keep us from what? The knowledge and understanding of what the Father has given us. It is His divine truth. See, we have the truth. We have the word, hallelujah, that dwell on the inside. That's why we need everyone. If you don't have the Spirit, see, that's where you get. They say born again. You born again of the Spirit, not of the flesh. And He's looking for the Spirit to bear witness with what? His Spirit. That's why it's so important that we get aligned with the word and aligned with this word, because this word is what's going to keep us. And it's hard to put His truth in there when the truth ain't gonna stay in there if the Spirit's not there. How you gonna bear witness? Because it's the Spirit that bears witness with our spirit. When we hear the truth, when the Holy Spirit is dwelling on the inside, and when we hear the divine truth, it agrees with our spirit man, because it is the truth. It's just like we reject it when we know it's a lie. We catch on to it when we know it's the truth. Oh, we give Him glory. See, we got to be spiritually walking in this truth. Spiritually understanding, spiritually worshiping, spiritually remembering. That's why He said in this day, this time, He put the Spirit, Yahushua said, that you worship Me in spirit and truth. Because it is the Spirit that bears witness with my spirit. Oh, we give Him glory. And when we know that empowers us, and when that happens, we begin to rise up in this divine truth, and He lead us to the truth. He lead us to the places that we need to go. He lead us to the understanding that we need to understand. Therefore, we can look and see what's going on. We know and understand that this thing is crumbling before our eyes. But many that don't understand it, they out there talking about pray for your enemy. What you gonna pray for your enemy for? And you can see what they're doing to the people over there that look like you.
Get worse.
And we got to be careful at all, because a lot of the people over there still some Israelites over there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think all them Nigerians, you just not know, a lot of them Nigerians are Israel.
That's true.
He said, I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heathen. The Father said, He's already delivered. See, we got to understand, this stuff is already written. Just like the time that it was written that we would go into captivity, before we even go into captivity, didn't He not tell our forefather Abraham what was going to happen to us?
That's right. Yes, He did.
You think all this thing is catching y'all by surprise? This is what? Preordained.
Mm-hmm.
He know they wasn't going. They wasn't going. He already know which one going to have a heart to turn, and which one is their heart is going to be hardened. Because some will hear the divine truth and their heart get hardened. He already know that's not here. That's a son of Satan. See, all of them don't have a pale face. See, that's where we go wrong.
That's true.
Because anytime you hear the truth and your heart is hardened and get even worse and mad, you have to check that. Because just like what did Yahushua say? He said, I know who you are. You are the father of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
You up your father. That's why
Exactly.
they're so angry with him. He knew it. He bust them out. He showed them. He let everybody know he was who they was. He didn't say he didn't say it behind closed doors.
No, he didn't.
Because they was at that time coming after the truth of the people. All we see, we got to understand. All his goal is to deter us from knowing the laws and statutes and commandments of our Yah. That's why all these programs, that's all this stuff is put in place. That's why he said he will kill us for us not to know it. Because he know the minute we know this truth, he know his powers is diminishing. Because when we know and we come back to the Father, he began to what? Empower us. And see, the enemy knows that, but his children are ignorant to it. They talking about knowledge and power. They don't know how powerful. They don't. Some people just say it because it's just a cliche, but they don't understand how powerful knowledge really is
Yes, it is a powerful thing.
for his people. When they begin to know and understand and come back to his what? His laws and commandments. Not what we was taught in this, because Christianity, and thank y'all for it, because we did get some understanding, even though they twisted it. But one thing I love about the word, even if the enemy tried to deliver it wrong, the Ruach will straighten it out.
Mm-hmm.
He will cause you to find the divine truth. Even if they have the what? They call themselves watering it down, and they have. Just like out here, Pastor Wicked was saying. He said, I already know. He said, when we do all this research, 60% of this stuff, even in the King James Version, is true, but 40% of it ain't. And we know that. But you have to have the spirit of discernment.
That's
You
right.
got to have the spirit down on the inside of you. You tell you, because I look at it and I said, now that ain't even supposed to be there.
I have said that too about certain things.
So when you read the stuff, you're like, wait a minute, that don't even fit. Why is that in there like that?
It sure will.
Don't even make it. It's not even flowing.
Nope.
So we got to understand it is the spirit that bears witness with our spirit when we have the spirit in us. We just can't walk around talking we Israelites. We got the spirit of the Ruach within us. Born of the spirit. That's what he called born again. Not born of flesh, you're born of the spirit. He said, in number 11, let me finish that. He said, I have therefore delivered him into the hand of the mighty one of the heathen. He shall surely deal with him. I have driven him out of his wickedness. And then he said, number 12, and strangers, the turtle of the nations, have cut him off. Listen what y'all, ain't we seeing this happen right now? That we see in other countries cutting the U.S. off. They even they're getting rid of, they don't even want the dollar anymore. They don't even have nothing to do with their currency anymore. That they cutting them off. We seeing this stuff happening now. And this was written way before we could ever thought. He said, strangers, the turtle of the nation, the ones worse than them, have cut him off, and have left him. Upon the mountain and in the valleys, his branches are what? Fallen. The cookie is crumbling. It is what? Coming down. And his boughs are broken. All the rivers of the land and all the people of the earth are gone down from what? From his shadow. I'm not going to be over here anymore because I understand if I'm with him, if by association, I'm going to die. He said, and have left him. Let's go into this. And I'm going to open up some more things that I found out too. That I was reading in some other things. He said, Ezekiel 28:7 said, behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the turtle of the nations, and they shall draw their sword against the mighty, against the beauty of their wisdom, And they shall what? Defile that what? Your brightness. You will not be able to see. You won't be that glorious ones that everybody thought you were so glorious, so powerful. He said, I will fill his mountains with slain men. Just like you caused my men to be laid out slain and leave them in the streets, I'm going to do the same thing to you. What you done to my people Israel. He said, in your hills and in your valleys and in all your rivers shall they what? Fall that are slain with the sword. They will not be spared because they did not have mercy on his, and y'all's not going to have mercy on theirs. The 30th of Ezekiel say, he and his people with him, I told you about the association. He and his people with him, the turtle of the nation shall be brought to the what? To destroy the land. And they shall draw their sword against Egypt. We know who that is. We know what we are dealing with, this spiritual Egypt now. And fill the land with the slain. We know who we're talking about now. See, we were fooled and we didn't understand when they talk about it. They would talk about it was in the past when they wouldn't talk about it at all. Because all you're going to bet most to get out of these ministries right here, they're going to want to preach directly out of what they call the New Testament, which we know is no such thing. Now, Nahum said, 3:17-18 said, thy crown are as what? Locusts, and thy captives as a great grasshopper, which camp in the hedges and in the cold day. But when the sun arises, they flee away, and their what? And their place is not known where they are. And that's the truth. You have no idea where the butterfly goes. You don't know where the hopper grass goes when the weather starts changing. You don't. Matter of fact, you don't even know where the birds go at. Very few birds you see in the wintertime. But let it start get the sun in other words, it's telling us in the spirit when they look up, when they think everything is beautiful and they can rest, the enemy gonna be upon them. When they're really setting down the ease in their summers and their summer houses and their vacation places and their beachside products, homes and stuff, suddenly it's going to hit. You thought he was gone forever. No, he's not. Habakkuk 1:6 tells us, for lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, and what? Which shall march through what? The breadth of the land. And what? To possess the dwelling place that are not theirs. Just like they did our land, that land, their land gonna be done the same way. And not only this place, but all the places that took part in it. Because when you get in cahoots to come against his people, the Father he gonna send out a blast on all of them. This is not only just gonna hit here. The cook is crumbling. When I say it's crumbling not only for here, it's coming for everything that's attached to here. He's not just going to spare this one because they have attached themselves to them. For them, they are what? Allies with them, so they're going down with them. So when we are dealing with, when the Father is dealing with judgment, he's dealing with all the ones that has come against his people. Let me step over here and see. Shalom, biblical teach. Shalom. How are you? I don't know who else is here. Oh, shalom, Sister Kiana. We give it glory today. Hallelujah. Talking about the cook is crumbling. And it's coming down. I got some things I want to go into as well. And then he said, thus says Yahuwah Elohim, 15. In the day when he went down to the grave, I caused what? A mourning. I covered the deep for him and restrained the floods thereof, and the great waters were stayed. And I caused Lebanon to mourn for him, and all the trees of the field fainted for him. He said, number 60, I made the nation to shake at the sound of what? His fall. When I cast him down to hell, and with them that were descended into the pit, and all the trees of Eden, the choice and the best of Lebanon, all that drink water shall be confounded in the what? The in be confronted, well, shall be comforted in the be
confident.
yeah, right. But she'll be I keep going to say confronted. Shall be confident in neither parts of the earth. They shall not. They won't be. They will not find any rest. In other words, what the word is saying here, all the one that in this Eden. Let's get back to this Eden. They call America that land of the free, the home of the great. You can go there and you can live lavishly. If you come to America, you can have it all. You're land of the milk and flowing with milk and honey. This is what they call in their eating. But we already know what the word is saying. Ezekiel said, you're going down. You're going down with your lavishness. You're going down with your puff stuff. You're going down with your pride. You're going down in your mansions that you have called Eden. Yes, and the ones that come in. That's why so many want to come into here. But what they don't understand, this thing is crumbling, and it's crumbling fast. As we speak, we see it coming down. We see what the Father is doing to it. He said, to whom art thou thus? He said, to whom art thou thus lack in glory and in greatness among the trees of Eden? Yet shall thou be brought down with the trees of Eden unto the nether parts of the earth. Thou shalt lie in the midst of the uncircumcised with them that be slain by the sword. He said, this is Pharaoh and all his multitude, says Yahuwah. This is what I'm going to do to Egypt. This is what everybody going to be wondering what have, just like they shook their head, what happened to what? Jerusalem, us as a people, they're going to be shaking their head. What happened to them? What happened to this great milk flowing with everybody want to be a part, want to be in America? You go to any country, they want to come to America because that's the land of the great, home of the brave. But it's telling us exactly what's going to happen to America. It's telling us exactly how it's going to crumble, and they're going to tell us exactly he have raised up this terrible nation against them. And all their, and like I said earlier, if all the allied nations, why they ain't attacking? Because that's what allies, you go and get allies together. Because if anybody attack me, I can call on my allies to come help me fight. And they're supposed to be allied with the one over there fighting. Why they're not over there? No, they're over there. What they're doing behind your back, they're doing some other stuff. That's what you keep your eyes over there so they can do the dirt. Never trust the enemy when he puts stuff all in your face. And they're not moving on it because that's their ally. Why aren't they moving? Why are they not over there fighting with them? It's a smoke screen. We'll see exactly what they're going to be doing in the coming weeks. Yes, they're going down, but the Father, they don't understand what they're doing because what the Father has set up, this thing is set up. It's set up for their demise, which they planning for us. They already done planned something for us anyway. They planned what all these diseases that they're putting out, and we see it coming on them. It's a war. But the war is what was happening is the war is really among the people of the Most High. They're trying to destroy us. And they've been doing that for what? From day one. The enemy has been coming out after the people of the Most High Elohim. And what? Our Savior. What I was doing earlier today, and I'm going to jump over here to some of these things that I have. I was looking at it. I was doing some research today on some stuff. And I ran across this I don't know if anybody familiar with um I got this out actually the professor of romantic language and literature out of university out of the university of Pennsylvania. And if you're familiar with this, the man's name is Nikolai. Is not Nikolai. Oops, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here. Just just changed it a little bit. His name is Niccolo Machiavelli. He he wrote this back in. He did this book these books concerning even down to who it talked about even Caesar Borgia. And that I began to read this and I began to look into this understand. I downloaded it. If somebody else wanted, I'll also I'll send it to you as well. Well, this guy basically tells us, even though Niccolo Machiavelli, he was the first great Italian historian and one of the most intimate political writers of any age or country, was born in Florence in 1469. He was of an old, though not wealthy, Tuscan family. It tells us his father, who was what? A jurist, dying dying when Nicola was 16 years old. We know nothing of this. They're telling this is the summary what they done. We know nothing of Machiavelli's youth and little about his studies. He does not seem to have received the usual humanistic education of his time, as he as he we as he knew no Greek. He said the first notice of Machiavelli in 1498 was when he found him holding the office of secretary in the second chancery of the Signoria, which office he retained till the downfall of the Florentine Republic in 1512. His usual ability was soon recognized, and in 1500 he was sent on a mission to Louis the 12th of France, and afterward on an embassy to Caesar Borgia. Now we got to understand Caesar Borgia. I've looked him up. He was a lord. In other words, that word lord there was a duke. And I'm gonna pull it up. We already know who Caesar Borgia is, but this man wrote about him. This man telling us about a little bit about him. He was the Lord of Romagna at Urbina. Let me pull it up here. When I pulled it up, and I just started laughing when I read that. I'm gonna say, and I said to myself, "Is he talking about the one that we talking about?" So actually, let me get it. When I pull it up, this is what I pull up: the same information that everybody, the same man that everybody are worshiping as what? As Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what, and this is actually the same of Caesar Borgia that everybody think that, well, in the Christian church they call Jesus. The same one, we see his picture all over the place. That as I say, those are his images up there. Every image that we have seen all up on the wall, all standing in the churches, we've seen them. And he began to, and he was writing this, and he got intrigued about this because when he found this Caesar Borgia was already a Lord. He was already trying to exalt authority. He already had a plan. And in this, I'm just going to hit this some, because you can read up on this, what he did. And let me read a little bit more, then I'm going to stop, because it's a lot. But he wrote a book in reference to this. He had actually nothing really. He just wrote the book. He wrote the book without being biased. I put it like that. He just wrote what he saw, and he wrote and he put it in a book. That's all he did. And it telling us here, Caesar Borgia, the Lord of Romagna, at the Urbino, Machiavelli's report and description of this and subsequent embassies to this prince. They call him prince. In other words, he was saying he was a lord. Shows his undisguised admiration for the courage and the cunning of Caesar, who was a master in the application of the principles afterwards exposed in such a skillful and uncompromising manner by McNamara in his prints. The limits of this introduction will not permit us to follow with any detail that many important duties with which he was charged by his native state, all of which he fulfilled with the utmost fidelity and with consummate skills. When after the battle of Ravenna in 1512, the Holy League determined upon the downfall of Sardona, I don't know how to say that word, the confalonry of the Florentine Republic and the restoration of the Medici. The efforts of Machiavelli, who was an ardent Republican, listen to this, he was a Republican, were in vain. The troops he had helped to organize fled before the Spaniards, and the Medici were returned to power. Machiavelli attempted to congratulate his new masters, but he was deprived of his office and being accused in the following year of participating in the conspiracy of the Baculi and the Caponi. He was imprisoned and tortured, though afterwards set at liberty. Now by Pope Leo the 10th. He now retired to a small estate near San Casanillo, several miles from Florence. Here he devoted himself to political and historical duties, and though apparently retired from the public life, his letters show the deep and passionate interest he took in the political vicissitudes through the Italy, which Italy was then passing, and in all of which the singleness of purpose which he continued to advance his native Florence. It is clearly manifest it was during his retirement upon his little estate. Let's go down here. He said the prince, who he called the prince was Caesar Borgia, the most famous of all his writings, and here also he held beyond a much more extensive work. His discourses on the decades of Levi, which continued to occupy him for several years. These discourses, which do not form a continued commentary on Levi, give Machiavelli an opportunity to express his own views on the government of the state, a task for which his long and verified political experience and an arduous study of the ancient render him intimately qualified. Okay, let's come down some more, because there's a lot. I'm not reading all this either. Okay, it say by 1520, you say the art of war, though the art of war not written till 1520 should be mentioned here because of its intimate connection with these two treaties. It being in fact a further development of some of the thoughts expressed in the discourse. Now, let's look down here. Herein, he expresses his own mastery way he views on the founding of a new state, taken for his type and model Caesar Borgia, although the latter had failed in his schemes for the consolidation of his power in the Ragma. In other words, when you keep reading this, if you want to read it, Caesar Borgia was already trying to take over in power. And he was, and as we see, he became what today, as we know, as most of people call him what? Oops. They call him Jesus the Christ. Although he started out as what? The Caesar Borgia, the prince. And this man is uncovering this, and he has out a book. That's all. Now, I don't know how I got there this morning to find this. All of a sudden, this was up on my screen. I'm like, what is this? But this is just a summary of who he is, and it gives you an idea. And this is the book that he wrote, the Florentine history of Niccolo Machiavelli. Yes, and he wrote these books. He wrote a book, and he has what I think 26 chapters in it, and it kind of gives you some more of what this all about, which really was some of us, and how he said if the eruption of northern peoples upon the Roman territory, and they tell you who the Visigoths was, the Visigoths, the barbarians, called in by the Seleucids, the Vandals in Africa, Franks, and the Burgundians give their names to France and the Burgundy. The Huns, the Anglos gave the name to England. Antiquity kings of the Huns in Italy, what they call it, Genseric, takes Rome. And it just telling you the names of these people, because a lot of times we don't know who the names of these folks, we don't know who they are. And let me get over here. And the name of the Visigoths, which I pull up, which they say the Spaniards are partially descendant of the Visigoth nobility that ruled Spain for what? They ruled Spain for a couple of centuries. Therefore, most Mexicans, they say, probably have some degree of the Visigothic ancestry, even though it is very diluted. So a lot of their lineage is point back to these, what they call the Visigoths. And then we looking at not on the Visigoths, we look at like what I read earlier. We look back at the Cimmerians, what they call it now, the modern day, as we say the Syrians, but they were the Cimmerians. They actually was the Celtics. Now we heard that word, the Celtic, but here we see them also the Cimmerians. And these people changes their name to the fact that if you don't know who you are, it's hard to keep up with them. It's all like you got to dig to find who they are, which they all the same people with the same attitude, the same mannerism that we see today that comes out and fight against the people of the Most High. And their whole goal was to fight against the knowledge and understanding of who we are, and the laws and the statutes and the commandments of the Most High, because they understand, as we know these things, as we understand our laws and statutes and commandments, and we've started turning back to do them, that means they're losing power. They're beginning to lose power. That's why all this harshness, that's why all this turning up the heat on the people of our people. That's why they're doing things that don't make no kind of sense. That people can be sitting in their car and all of a sudden they get shot just sitting in the car. is an all-out war. We talking about a war where they know the war really is in the U.S. is really against the people of the Most High Elohim. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with these different nations that know who we are, and we know they know who we are, but it's a lot of times we don't know them because they're so disguised.
That's true.
We don't know them. They come with what, like I hear say, these smiling faces and the kind words, and yet they have a dagger. When you turn, they're there to what, to stab you.
Mm-hmm.
They're there really to destroy you. So we got to understand when the Most High set these things up, He's letting us know. He's telling us right now what to look for, and it is up to us to search these truths out to find who our true enemy is, because we got to understand that we have a true enemy, and that enemy really is angry with us because of who we are and what we know and whose we are. Because we know when we start standing up, when we start putting our stake in the dirt, that we are not going to follow after their laws and their commandments, which they have established purposely to lead us away from the things and the knowledge of Him. That's why they're coming out. That's why they have this hatred, because it diminishes their power. As we rise up, they fall. As we begin to turn back, that's why the Father letting us know through the eyes and through the prophecy of his prophet. That He said in these days now, we begin to see the prophets going to rise up. We're going to see the things that as they were, they're going to be once again. And they begin to lose the power and lose the hold of y'all's people. And they don't want that. So that's why all this fighting, all this taking attention away. Where they can go do that, really do that. I wonder what's going to be the next big dilemma. We already know they're coming down. That's word, and that's a promise to them that they're going to be crushed. That this cookie is crumbling. It is crumbling because we are waking up. That's the only reason why it's coming down. That's the only reason why the cookie is crumbling, because we are beginning to stay. The only reason why the cookie is crumbling, because now we are voicing this thing. We are not hiding it. That is everywhere, that we are talking about this word. And those that know the truth, they're trembling because you are waking up, Israel, because you are now standing before the judge. The judge, and telling the judge who you are. There's no more fear. The Father, when He raises people, there ain't gonna be no fear, because He's taking the peoples up. And when you learn to see one thing about the divine truth, when you get the divine truth, the fear leaves, boldness comes. And they're like, who you think you are? Who do you thought you were? You thought you were gonna continue to stand, and you was not gonna be brought low? In this day and time, He said, when I wave my hand again, and I begin to wake up my people, and they begin to know who I am. Don't you know everything has to be set back in order when we begin to know who we are? All the power has to be switched back to His people. And this is what we call a power struggle. This is a power war. If I can kill them, we can keep the power. If I can diverse them to let them think you keep Easter, you keep and I can keep them going after these other nations to marry them. I can keep them weak, and I can keep them destroyed, and we don't have to worry about them people. What they don't understand, it ain't gonna be but a few. Y'all only have a remnant. He only have a few that's going to stand up and we be accounted. Yeah, you're gonna keep those ones that's tied to you all, because some is not leaving. They're gonna stay over there in the synagogue of Satan. Because yes, they got them right here in the U.S. and they are children of Him too. So like I said earlier, because they all the faces not pale. Some of the faces of the sinner, the children of the sons of Satan, they look like us, and they're not going to where they're tied in there. And we have to let that be. But those that when they hear the truth, when the word go forth and when it bears witness with our spirit, and our spirit is supposed to be the Holy Spirit that's within dwelling in us. Because that's how we know the truth. That's how we discern. That's how we understand when they're breathing out lies. And that's how we understand that there's something more sinister behind what they're doing now. You can rest assured on that. Yeah, they're doing this and they, because one thing should tell us with the spirit of discernment, why are they not over there helping what their ally? Why are they standing off? No, that's just that is just a smoke screen for us to be what our eyes over. We see the ones that don't have no understanding. You're right. It's a wolf in sheep clothing. Very much so. But we got to understand when the Father is telling us today what I'm doing right now with my people, and they can't stop it. And not only are they rising up, they're rising up in boldness. And they have the divine truth because I'm putting it on their tongue. I'm putting it in their heart, and they can't hold it. I'll set their tongue on fire if they try to close their mouth. They have to open their mouth. Because this is the hour that the power is being transferred back to his people. Not only is the power being transferred, it is the wealth that's being transferred. It is what? The authority and the rulership is being transferred. Everything has to be set back in order. And it has to be set back in order according to his people and the movement and the awakening of his people. There's no more sleeping giants anymore. He said he's waking up. They call us nothing, but he called us a giant. We are going to wake up and we are going to be who he called us to be, and they are going to go down. And that's what this thing is about. All this smoke screening, all this thing, it's about power. And the power is, they know we have it. They know our history. They know what they fought against way back in the land, way before we even thought they were fighting because of the power. And they understood, a lot of them understood that we don't fight with Israel because Israel, God fights for them. Therefore, when they come out against us, they got to fight him. And they knows this. That's why they're trying to give us all these false gods and all these false places that they want us as a people. And we did it out of ignorance. That's why the Father, you don't have to worry about, because when the word go forth and when he hears them, he'll wake them up just like he woke us up. Everybody wake up differently. You can have 5 kids and every one of them going to wake up different. Some of them you have to drag out of the bed and stand them on their feet before they wake up. Some of them you have to stand on their feet and walk them before they wake up. Some of them you can just go and knock on the door, they get up. Because they're hearing his king. Oh, we give him glory. You right, give back all about our gold, our precious stone. You right, keep the paper, because that's going down. We got to understand where we are right now. We in that place right now of what? Early development. And all the ground, and trust me, even in the early development that we are in now, the world is acting up. The world is what they say, the trees are clapping her hands. Whoa, they're waking up. They're getting up. Look at that. They're standing up. We are tied to the earth, and the earth is tied to us. I told somebody the other day, listen, you got to understand, we earth people. And when we move, when we do things, the earth reacts to our move. When we stand up and we begin to proclaim the goodness and the truth of the Most High, the world begins to act. Don't the word say the earth groans and moans for what? The manifestation. It groans and moans for the manifestation of the sons of Yah. And that let us know when we start standing, we start not only standing, when we start moving. Now we're moving. This thing is moving. The earthquakes is starting. The flood is over. The water is overrunning their banks. Because there's movement in the spirit. Because we house the spirit of the Most High in the earth. Know this. He giving us this. All praise. You right, mother. All praises to the Most High. We houses the spirit that's in the earth with us. And as he leads us and as we begin to move, things begin to happen and the enemy knows it. Don't you know they're watching us? Don't you know that's why you half of the time your stuff don't work? When you're trying to go bring a word out, half of the time the stuff goes down on us. He said, I'm going to bring down all these 10 nations. I was in Daniel today. I remember, and it sparked something that brought back to me. And I'm not a person, I dream when I dream. I did, and I still didn't understand dream, but after I got in the word, and I'm like, I'm saying, you right, they're watching us like a hawk. Y'all think this symbolizes what you think an eagle do? An eagle watches their prey. You got to get the nature of an eagle. He watches the prey. He watches the movement. He watches what they do. He watches. I make sure when I come swoop down and get them, that's why the Father's going to use that same analogy on them. I'm going to send an eagle-like judgment against them. And when they look up, he's going to be on them. There ain't nothing they can do. I'm telling you, I watched this thing and I couldn't figure it out. I watched this dream. I was standing. I know I was standing in the corridor. And I don't know if anybody ever visit the World Trade Center. The World Trade Center has like a corridor. The streets it's not really wide. And they call it the Wall Street because it's walled on each side. And I was standing in that street. And as I was standing, there were 4 beasts that was walking down that street. One was a lion. One was a bear. One was a ox. We had had horns. And the other was an elephant. And the stride that they was taking, they walked with such pride. And they was walking slow, and they passed me, and I looked at them, and they had this sense of pride. And they were walking down the middle of the street in Wall Street, as though I was standing. It's almost like I was standing there, and yet they walked right through me. But they didn't touch me. And I'm telling you, and I was like, now I understand some of this, but I didn't understand all of this. Liberty say, Messiah gave my sweet baby understanding. This Sabbath, she said, Lucifer is the son of the morning because when he is worshipped, he brings sorrow. That's right. And she is right. They see the Father is bringing, listen, hear the voice of these babies. Because I'm telling you, he's speaking through even the babe. That's just how. See, this generation is waking up. This 4th generation, and he gave me a revelation that he said, those that came out, that was sent out, and all their children that is awakened now, is my 4th generation. They're mine. All these that's waking. These are that 4th generation. So you're gonna see babes at young age. You're gonna see them at 120 age. I'm telling you, man. Yes, it has to blow your mind because you don't expect them little babies to come out and say stuff like that. You know it's the Ruach be giving it to them. They don't know this stuff, and I know she telling the truth because I just was in that last night. I just was in that, reading that. I know it. I just reading that. I said, you know what? That Lucifer. They done disguised his name, the son of the morning. I said, but and I was reading if we look in the other Bibles, that was last night. And what we call was on it as well. Did y'all watch Truth Unlimited? He said it too. Because they changed the name from the star of the morning, the son of the morning, and I think in the bright of the day or something other. They changed it in all these different scriptures. And I say Lucifer, they'll change Lucifer name because they don't want, because when you worship it, people don't know they worship Lucifer. Yes, I'm telling you, we got to understand. For the Father is moving upon His people, and we got to be in that place that we understand what is happening right now, what is taking place right now, and what they're trying to disguise right now is because of your movement, and because of your moving, and because of the Father open up your eyes of understanding, is that He is enlightening us that we will know what is happening. And it comes so clear. I said, oh, so this is a smoke screen then. It was like, well, take consideration. If they're allies, why they're not over there helping fight? They're just moving these people around so we will think they are. See, the enemy got to do all this stuff to disguise. I don't know who this here, Vora, this Leonard Haldeman is. Lord, they all right. He gonna get the truth of whoever he is, whatever. But the thing, what we got to understand is what the Father is telling us today, and this was not a long lesson, but what I was looking into, I even looked into Daniel, because Daniel gave us the nation. He was talking about all these nations, and I began what all nations that have representation of this eagle. And let me get, I know I had Ezekiel and Sapphira, and I had Caesar Bojera and Lonia. You mean to tell me I didn't? What happened to it? You see there how the enemy does. Now I know I bought this over, y'all. I know I did. Okay, let's see. Can I go whichever I can go back on? Okay, let's go back here. Let's see what Daniel. Because Daniel was where I was. He says, number 7, and no, Daniel and the nations spake. I mean, it's getting. I mean, the enemy is getting more cunning, and we really have to be on our spiritual P's and Q's, because what the Father is doing, He's allowing us to understand that when the enemy it's almost, well, I put it back this. Do y'all understand how they killed Malcolm X? They created what we call a distraction. They jumped up and they act like they were fighting and carried on, where everybody now turn their eyes and look at what's happening, what's in the back going on, so that gives them the opportunity to strike against what we call the man Malcolm X. And the same thing, the enemy has no new tricks. And we got to get to understand that he has no new tricks. So why he gonna change the trick when all of the same tricks that keep working? So what we got to do actually is be what? Heighten what? The Father give us a spirit of what? Discernment. Because if they're doing all this, you got to understand what they're really doing, what are really happening, what are really finna take place. Because if I'm allied with you and somebody over there beating up you, don't you know I'm gonna show up? And you right, Brother Jay, ain't nothing new under the sun. They use the same tactic because you don't have to use other tactic because what they say, my people are sottish, they're stupid. They'll wake up and they'll go back to sleep. They'll wake up and they'll go back to sleep. Or ain't nothing gonna happen. They'll wake up and go back to sleep. And then when they do wake and something happens, they get up and pray for the wrong one. They get up and want to have sympathy for the wrong one. I saw something the other time. Be a blessing to Ukraine. Send a donation. What am I send a donation over there? I see what you doing to the people look like me. I would be crazy. But you got some of our people jump right on board. Ignorance. Listen, ignorance destroys people. It kills. And we got to understand that. You say lesson 21, the rise and fall of nations. Sure, world Bible lessons. I don't think this is where I was. This was not where I was. Slide player. Oops. Saying Daniel's vision, 4 winds strove upon what? In Daniel 72 tells Daniel spake and say, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, 4 winds of what? The heavens strolled upon the great sea. In number 2, he said, in symbolic prophecy, what do bodies of water represent? Revelation 17 and 15 tells us, and he says unto me, the waters which thou sawest, hallelujah, where the whore sitteth, are people and multitudes and nations and tongues. Yes, I do need some moderators. You're right about that, because I don't know who that is. He said the people of Ukraine are the bloodline. And you're right. They are the descendant of Judas Ezekiel. I'm not sending them dearly. I know that's right. So y'all must be crazy. Well, but you know you got some of us gonna do it. Think they doing y'all a favor with their ignorant self. He's telling us in the symbolic prophecy what do bodies of water represent. Revelation tells us, it gives us the understanding what they were talking about. He says unto me, the waters which thou sawest were what? The whore sitteth. Where the whore sitteth are people and multitudes and nations and tongues. Yes. And see, now this what came up from the sea. Daniel 7:3 tells us, and 4 great beasts came up from the sea. Diverse, one, they're different from another. Now that's what I was talking about when I saw this image. Now we know, now I understood something too. We know who worshiped the cow. That's India. That's one of their beasts they worship. And I said, you know what? And I was like, well, not in the cow, but the elephant. Elephant is one of their gods. Is a god of India. It's one of their, everything over their god, but that's one of their Pacific ones. So when in my reading and study, I found out even on this past week that India has a whole lot of influence and ownership in America as well. So that would make sense that they would be part of this Wall Street going on here. because they are wealthy too. One thing we know, America is not going to deal with no poor country. They're going to only deal with what we call wealthy nations. You're right. The Ukrainian president told Putin he was a person. All of them the same people. They just gonna got mad. Listen, that I made this. I made the example of Malcolm X. Now I wouldn't doubt that this don't go out because whoever this is that try to come in here, they're out of the country. As you can see, this is satellite up there. A lot of times they come in and try to knock out. But as we see the four beasts. We see the lion. Now it's amazing. You got a lion, you got a tiger with four heads, you got a tiger, and you got a tiger with a lion with wings. He said, and four great beasts came up from the sea, different one from another. Yeah, you're right. The cow is sacred to the people in India. That's why they don't eat beef. And you're right. They eat up all the hog, but they won't eat beef. Well, everything there, God to them, but that is sacred to them. They'll starve to death before they eat a cow. And I didn't understand, but I'm telling you, the Ruach brought that to me. He said, India, they worship the elephant is and the cow. He said that's their God. They got a big stake in this America, and people don't even realize what the biggest stake. Yeah, China do too. They was walking, all these ones that symbolizes that walk down this corridor are the one that really has a big stake in this USA. China, India, and who else? Well, we know that we know that the one part of is the U.S. Shabbat Shalom, Sister Deborah Willard. Oh, how are you? Bless you. He said, what came up from this sea? Daniel said in 7:3 said, and four great beasts came up from the sea. They were different from another. In other words, we're talking about different nations, and their laws are different, but they have what? Come in cahoots together. India still got their laws, they still practice their laws. China still have their laws, they practice their law. All of them have their same. They have laws. I'm good. They say, I'm good. Do they eat chicken? You know, yeah, India, they eat chicken. Yes, they do. They eat chicken, but they don't, them sacred things. They'll eat the chicken. They'll eat all the vegetables. They'll even eat some pig. They'll eat that. But them sacred animals, they're not going to eat. So we have to understand, we talk about four different beasts, but see what happened is they did not have to change the way they worship. What they did, they actually kept their worship and their laws, but they became allies with the U.S. And because according to this lesson, because they have become allies, because they have put themselves with them, their father said he's going to bring them down. Anything that's allied with America that would have come against his people, they're the cookie is crumbling. And if you're going to those countries, they're crumbling. That's why you see all these horrible floods in Asia, and also in the Indian, what do you call India? All these different disasters, they're crumbling. They're crumbling within. Because the Father said, when you come out against my people, if you want to be in cahoots with the nation that coming, you're going down too. He said they're all coming down. Not only this nation's coming down, but they're coming down as well. He said, what do beasts represent in the Bible? Prophet said, Daniel tells these great beasts, which are four are four kings. We understand that, which is four nations, which shall arise out of the earth. Now, have they arrived yet? Let's look for the four these great beasts. Let's see who they are. Let's see what comes up when I go in here. Let me let me get that. Okay, let's see what show up when I go in here. Oh, for Jerome, the four. Let's see. The lioness represent Babylonia. The bear, the Medes, and the Persian. The leopard, the the Tomatic Egypt, and the beast with 10 horns, Rome. Well, we know that. Okay, but I want to get right here. So if the bear is the Medes, so let's see, because the bear was in my dream. In this, I wasn't asleep. The bear. Let's see who are the Medes. Uh, let's see who they say the Medes are. A member of the Iranian people who inhabited ancient Media, established an extensive empire in the 7th BC, which was conquered by Cyrus the Great of Persia. So the Medes, as we know them, are the Iranian people. So that is the bear that I saw. Now, I don't know what is going to happen with what was shown me, but I'm beginning to understand that this stuff is unfolding, and these people are sticking their heads up when they was actually silent. Let's get back over here. Uh, where was I? Oops. Let me get back. Let me go back over here to Daniel. So now you see that it knocked my whole thing out there. That's what I should have did, just because I'm finished with those. And the lion is the symbol of Scotland. Three lions are the symbol of for England, which we know that's Europe. It has nothing to do with the Britishness or British characteristics, as the Britishness did not exist as a concept when these badges were adopted. Okay, let's go in here. So the lion and her natural animal. This is Great Britain, Cora, because you got more than one. All the because I've seen this in the flag lions. I am just trying, you guys, y'all bear with me because I'm just trying to get some understanding of what I saw. See, I'm just trying to get some line with eagle's wings. I'm trying to get some understanding of this bear this lion, this elephant, Daniel's lion, bear, and leopard. Because usually when I see things like this, I know something is taking place. And I'm really trying to understand what the Father is doing. But what I did know and I did understand, He gave me to understand this. There's a smoke screen, and the question came and was asked to me: if you was an ally, why wouldn't you be able to fight with them? If you really was the one that 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 looking out for your little brother or your little sister, why are you not out fighting against the enemy? Which means if you're not fighting with them, then let me tell you this. Then that's a smoke screen for me to do what, for the eyes of them to take what their eyes off of. Where are you? Genesis, let me go. I have the talk the targum up here too. I have some failure. What Jonathan in Genesis 10:6, and the son of Cam or Cush and Mazarine, which is Egypt, and Foot and Canaan, and the name of their province was Arabia and Mazarine and Alaruk and the Canaan. I'm telling you, all these people, I keep telling they just cousins and they mad because something didn't go wrong or what they two things is going on here. They done got in the who's together because when I did research last week, when you see that China and Russia them got together and helped with this canal, and he actually paid them for the canal. Britain helped them. So all this stuff is in cahoots. So the thing is, what are they up to? And the thing is, what they're up to is what they're coming together to bring something else to try to destroy Israel again. Is to take your eyes off it, yes, but the Father has something for them because all these things that they're calling themselves trying to do to His people, they're going to meet their fate of that thing. Because it's letting me know, yes, they might be in power now. Because all that was, they were in power. They're in power now. These nations are in power, but their cooking is crumbling. The things that the Father is showing us, that as His people that got eyes to see and the spirit of discernment, these things are getting ready to come down as we begin to understand when things started turning, when all this started living, when they stopped lying. If it's so bad, why they're not showing it on the news that is so bad? Don't y'all know every news channel should be on if it's so bad? That's our clue. If it's so bad and things are really happening, then why are they not showing it on every network, all this free stuff that we can see? Why not? That tells us there's a smoke screen. They're up to something else. They have to get the masses' attention on that while they're cooking up something else. And you're right, they always have smoke screen. You're right, Sister Kiana. The whole up the screen up. Yes, right. Hold up what? Hold the right hand out and what? And have the left hand one behind them back with a knife. And you're right. I said that earlier. Why we looking, they want to strike from somewhere, but they don't understand what Ezekiel said according to what Ezekiel had told us today. He told us today, he said, but he gonna send something out against them. He said, the stranger, the turban of the nation, have cut him off and have left him upon the mountain, and in all the valleys, his branches are what fallen, and his boughs are broken by all the rivers of the land, and all the people of the earth are gone down from what? His shadow and have left him. They found out he was a fraud. They found out they have got the power that they think they have. Because what he said, I've raised up one more turbulent than they are, and they're not going to touch him. Because he have what? He have anointed them to be what? Their terror, and they have become our terror. So we don't have to worry. The cookies are crumbling, y'all. It ain't it seems they got to go back and come up with something else. What can we do? Because they know as you begin to what? You right. Russia is bombarding Ukraine. And you're right. Why are they over there happy? They're their ally. Why are they not over there helping fight Russia? Why are they sitting on the left, on the sideline if they're their ally? If they penetrate that wall and go in Russia, they claim they were going in there and they were going to help. They were going to help fight. Where are they? I would be very upset with one of y'all. Y'all come, y'all down with me, and y'all gonna watch me get beat down and don't show up. That's just in the natural. But you know what? They got the message because the Father done told them. And anything when they go in there, they gonna get destroyed anyway. Let them go up in there. And you're right. They don't want to alarm the American people. That's why they lie. That America is about to be destroyed. Of course they don't. If you don't, hey, a lot of people don't say that. If things is happening, they don't want the enemy to know that. Why would they let people know what they listen? They're supposed to be the superpower. And according to this word, and all the branches that will follow them, you got all the people that want to be part of America because they know that the land of Eden, the flowing the milk and honey. I can't let nobody know that. Somebody told me the other time, I'm going to New York. I told that honey, it's not a bad time to go visit New York for nobody. New York and Washington, I'm not going to visit nobody up there. And you're right. This is why they are not showing the war with Russia. They're lying saying that the Ukraine is winning. Yeah, I saw how when the Ukraine was winning, when they was out there in the street with some guns. All the people got to do is turn loose a tank on them. That's all they got to do. And you're right. They have a submarine that can't be detected. They're already a sick threat against the U.S. They done told you they call it too the West. They made them know they were talking about us, about the West, the U.S. They better not interfere. Oh, I'm telling you, they better watch it. But the Father here, listen. The Father wants his people to be wise and understand what is happening. Don't get caught up what they're saying. Get caught up what they're not saying. That's what we're supposed to be watching. Watch what they're not saying. Brother James said, watching them drinking from the cup of dread. You're right. The scene they show in TV used to be show us now. Show us now is them. You're right. And that is the truth. I thought about that when I saw it too. They used to, but they would show us everything because it was us. It wasn't them. It is. Sister Deborah said it's a laughing joke to believe that Ukraine is beating Russia. You're right. It is. They don't even have the manpower that Russia have. They don't not even weapons. They don't even have the foot power. Not that they had to have it if their Father was on their side. Listen, the cookie is crumbling. I'm gonna say the cookies is crumbling because it's more than one. No, I watch it. I have learned to watch what they're not saying more so than what they're saying, and learn how and to research out and try to find out what's really happening because they show you what they want you to know. They've always done it that way. I don't pretty lost the screen. I don't even know where it at. I'm not even worried about that because what is happening now, we as a people of the Most High Elohim got to know it's all about us. We got to know that they're cooking up something for us. Just like they did in the end of 19, they back trying to cook up something. They already see the other one that coming out is not working against our people. What's working against our people when our people disobey the word of the Most High? Those that one that is falling. And they're do and they're alive. Well, they are the devil. That's their children. They lie just like their daddy do. That's what their father lies. But the Father is telling us today he don't worry about that because he have sent out a more greater army against them. And you don't think these people don't read this word? They don't know this word? They study this word better than we study. They know this word. That's why they stole the book and keep the books hidden because they know what's going to happen to them. They know the minute we as a people begin to come back to the knowledge and understanding of who we are in this word and the true Messiah. They know that all we got to do right. All we got to do is get some popcorn and watch the cookie crumble because it ain't nothing but a movie. It's an ongoing movie projection now. Because now they won't, matter of fact, they won't even give you true commercials. They won't even give you little episodes of what happened now. They're just going to lie and just say, I saw it the other day talking about Ukraine is winning. Winning what? All the people going, and the people that's left there is the one that's warring. They wouldn't let the men leave. They have no power there because the Father has taken their power. And when the Father takes the power, I don't care how big your structured army is, how vast your money and how far it can go. It doesn't matter. And you right, Brother Jay, that's going to force a race war here in the USA. That's what I'm looking for. That's what was shown to me. It's going to be a race war. And biblical teachers say they are hiding the fact that the petrodollar, from which was created by the people of Petro, example, Edom, is about to completely fall. And you're right. And that's the truth. It's not going to be no good. I heard somebody say the other day, somebody else done got rid of the dollar. They're not dealing with the dollar anymore. See, they're leaving it. That what he said, they are leaving him because they don't want to be under his shadow anymore. Ezekiel tells them they do not want to be under their shadow anymore. He's upon his ruin shall the fowls of the heaven remain, and all the beasts of the field shall be upon his branches. They don't want to be part of it anymore. We got to understand what the Father is doing. The Father is allowing us to know that this thing is an ending to this, and he's bringing it to an end, and he's letting us see it. All these powers and these superpowers, it's just like he said, Pharaoh, you don't understand what I did to the other nations. You better read your book. You got to understand what I did to Syria. You got to understand what I did to all the rest of these. I brought them down. They were superpower. That means nothing to me. Your pride will cause your downfall. Because what your pride got to the point that you come out against my people. Not only that, now you took their identity and now you trying to be them. And I had enough. Therefore, I wave my hand and I wake up my people. And as my true people wake up and my true people understand who they are and come back to this knowledge and understanding and start standing in this word, the earth starts standing against them. That's why we don't have to worry about fighting in this war. He said, because what? I will fight for my people. Oh, yes, it's coming. Oh, yes, it's coming. There's another one I saw too. I saw the only people walking down the street with their vested, they gun just like they walking now. They already in the uniforms I saw. They just haven't been let loose yet. It's coming. I saw this here about what? About 5 or 6 years ago. Now, I know it's been on 5. I said, well, it's going to be a turbo race on here. See, they want that loose now. But let me say this too, concerning this race war, there are really going to be what? Surprise. Because it's not going to go as planned. Here it is. It's not going to go as planned. Because what they understand is they think they're just going to come out and they're just going to come out against y'all's people and there's going to be a slaughter. Yes, it's going to come out through them ignorant ones, but the ones that the y'all is prepared, they listen. When they rise up, they're going to rise up. You think the Father waking us up to be silly? You think He's waking us up that the enemy will what? Take us down again? Not so. The ones that we going to see that the part is going to be the one of ignorance and the one is not prepared. The ones that want to be with them, that want to be in their circle, they're going first. And they're going to show them just how much of a circle they was in with them. But those that have stood the test of time and those that standing on this word, He's going to protect them. He's going to protect all of them. We ain't got that to worry about. He's going to protect them. Sister Deborah said, I thought some of my white friends were coming around. Yeah, no, they're not. Look like they are not. Sister Deborah, I'm telling you right now, it's like I said before. A lot of them they're going to die and swim in the lake of fire before they come around and admit that we are the people. That is no easy task when you don't crush somebody, kept someone under the foot all these many years. And now you gonna come tell me I kept them the one? Those the people of the Most High Elohim? Those the ones that the Messiah is gonna come back and fight me about? And you right, biblical team, He's going to strengthen us. We're gonna have back the strength that we once had. And that's what they are afraid of. They already afraid. That's why you got 6 and 7 of them come out against one man. I know that that's being stupid. That's stupid. But but they have not given their heart to understand. This word say they don't even consider. They don't understand. And that's why they'll go out against the people of the Most High. That's why they killed the Messiah. Because what did Paul say? If they had known who they was killing. If they know if they shed that blood was going to hit this earth and change things forever, they wouldn't have killed him. So the Father leave them in their I told you, ignorance kills. And they're going to die in their ignorance because no matter what we say or what we do, that is going to, some of them going to meet their fate. You right, brother James. It's all about the gold now. The real money. It's all about what? The real money. But we got to understand what the Father has done, it is doing. We gonna get the strength back. We gonna get the wealth back. We get the power back. And we gonna what? Get the control back. And that's what they're afraid of. They can't stand to hear you say that because they've been under what? They're under power so long. So I'm gonna have to flip that shirt for you. She said, I'm gonna get a t-shirt that says stupid should hurt. That is too funny. I know that's right. It do hurt. I'm talking ignorance is no time for ignorance because this is the day and the time and the hour that we have to be, well, we have to be very diligent in the things of the Most High Elohim. It's no time to play. It's no time to mess around. It's no time to be joking. In 1 minute, out the next minute. In the next and out the next. When the Father is showing us what he's doing to our enemy. And not only will he do to our enemy, he's going to do to us because when we are not aligned up with him. And that goes for white, black, green, gray. It doesn't matter. When we are not in alignment with him, we are his enemy. And he has been so great. He's given us all warnings. He's given us the voices. Just like I said earlier, he is raising up again his people to speak because we have to speak for those that's yet asleep. And those that yet will hear this word and they will come to the light of the truth of understanding that they're walking in darkness in these places. Has put them slapped to sleep and they don't even know they're asleep. That's a dangerous thing that you done went to sleep, don't even realize you're sleeping. And you behind a car wheel. All of a sudden you wake out and you got to snatch the wheel. Sister Kiana said, all I know is when we are all kicked out to you're right, we are kicked out to the ship because a lot of them ain't gonna just volunteer to go. I'm staying far away from the hard-headed people. Shoot, I'm gonna try to stay away from what? Them now. I know that's right. Because if they want to be hard-headed and they don't want to listen, what can you do? There's nothing, and you're right, it's zombie-like. And you can pull on them, and it's almost, you shake them, they still don't hear. The word tells you, it's hard time to wake up. It's time to wake up. And he waking up those ones that's waking up too. Not only is he waking up, he enforcing power in their voice. I said earlier, he's waking up an army, and they're becoming to be strong. And not only they're strong, they're standing on the word. They're not just talking about the word; they're standing on the word. See, a long time ago, you went to church, and you ain't stood on the word; you just went to church. They don't want the truth. A lot of people, listen, you got to understand what the truth is. The truth forces you to make a choice. And many people are not ready to make a choice. Because first of all, you got to not deny what you want to do. And see, when they understand, because what Christianity done told them, a whole lot of that is because of Christianity. Because they feel that you get this truth, that's an occult. Child, you got the truth. Listen, I'm Baptist fed and Baptist. When I die, I'm going to be Baptist dead. Go ahead on. And you're right. To stand on the word of what the Messiah has given. Because that is the word. Whatever he has told us, that's what we stand on. Whatever he has showed us and taught us in his word, that's what we stand on. Whatever he has revealed to us, that's where we walk through the power of the Ruach. Because it's going down. Everything is going down but the word of the Most High Elohim. And that's it. I'm telling you, he said everything is going down. If when he look and he don't see the blood, he don't see the seal. Oh, if he don't see his seal, it's going down. We got to understand we sealed by his blood. And as we walk in this word, and we continue to walk, we are what? We become this shining light. Our forehead begin to shine. You ever see, a lot of, I don't know if y'all notice this stuff. See, he showed me these things. The people of the Most High that walk in the divine word, you have a light in your face. And many of you don't even don't take nothing, no note of it. Many of you have light shining in your face, and you think just look at the mirror. When you're walking under the power of the Lord, there's a shining in your face. And the enemy knows that. You are not just a light in the earth by word. You are light in the earth because you shine in the earth. You're right. Sister Deborah say the church is more of a social game. That's all it is. Not true teaching of Yahusha. No, because that's where they go to be, transfer their business and pass out their cars and tell you what they want to do in the neighborhood, and it had nothing to do with ministry. They don't know nothing about keeping the laws, the statutes, and the commandments. And that's all. Whereas some of them, Keon, they do have some back there. You go into some of the pastor's office, you find it. Yeah, they do have the booze in there. Yes, they do. So we got to understand what the Father is doing for his people. He has put what? He has put a light on his people. And as they begin to walk, and as that's why he said you the light of the world. He means that. Because the word and the truth make you shine. It make you, it brighten up your countenance. If it did it for Moses, it did to him so bad he had to put what? He had to put a veil over his face. Can you imagine we walk around here like that? People be some kind of scared of us. Wouldn't have to be, I'm telling you. But we got to understand what the Father is doing for us now. And I would do, Sister Bess, I was thinking the same thing about the boost, probably other drugs as well. And you're right. We got to understand we are the war. This is a power war. And we think it's about them, all these nations. No, because they're in cahoots together. We all know they have what? They have come together. Psalm 83 tells us that. They come together on us. They're confederate against us. Do you think that contract is over? No, it's not. And now that we're rising, not only we're rising up in this U.S., we talk they're rising up all over these nations that the Father has what? Scattered them. This awakening is just not here. This awakening is all over those countries. And they're beginning to see and understand that's what's happening. They have already read this story. For the second time, he raised it. No, he don't wave his hand. That is a sign to them that the Father has waved his hand over people, and they have begun what? To walk and to go back. Come back to the things of the Most High. Yeah, y'all, please hit the like button. Y'all know I be forgetting about that. The like and the share button. At least the like button. Anyway. Matter of fact, if you don't like it, hit the don't like button. That's still get notification as well. Let somebody did look at it, didn't like it. But but we got to understand what the Father is doing among his people. Our Father is letting the people know, and those that have read this word, and those that have studied our history, those that have studied the word more than we studied. Those that still got hidden scripts that we don't know about. But they do know what the Father said when he waved his hand the second time, that his people will begin to wake up. And they begin to know who they are. And they begin to do what? Turn back to him, or his laws and his statutes and his commandments is what he was going to start doing to our enemy. They know this. They understand it better than most. Because they're the one that try to hide the truth from us. Not try, they hid it. We came up as a generation, didn't know who we were. We came up a generation that would fight each other. They didn't even know we had a Hebrew name. Didn't know we had another Messiah, the true Messiah. We went by what they gave us. Did not question it at all. Nothing. We so dead until we didn't even question the man didn't look like nothing like us. We just went on with our work because they told us that was him. And what's happening now is what is very scary to them now. So they got to use this miniature war that's going over there talking about they winning, but it's gonna get out of more hand. They ain't gonna have to help because they know the minute they already Russia already said the minute they strike, that Western world jump into this. The minute that they strike, they're gonna see something. They're gonna witness something they have never witnessed in their life. That sounds like a threat to me. And you're right. It's a lot of deception. But that's the time that we're in. That's why it's so important that we as a people will get in, will be not get in the truth, stay in the truth, walk into and live this life according to the word of the Messiah. What he has taught us, we're in a very crucial time now. We're in a wonderful time. But we also in a crucial time. We're in a time we'll never see this before. We'll never walk this way before. I'm quite sure 5-10 years ago, you didn't think you ever walk anyway this way before. Consider yourself a whole new you and a whole new attitude about the things of the Most High Elohim that we had walking around with this book and was ignorant to it. See, they can't take out all the truth. They got to leave something in there. And the Father brought us through even with the lies and deception that they did in the book. We got to this point of what? Awakening. He can do it again for his people because we got to understand who he is. Yes, they did. They gave us all. They really gave us a really incomplete Bible. That's by design. Because you give us the right one, we'd have been awakened. It just wasn't time. Because the prophecies say after what? We will be in the land 400 years. And after that, we will wake up. After that, he will bring us back to understand. So they couldn't give it to us. See, when the Father speaks a word, it's going to come to pass. But that's why, you can't keep us down forever. And like Sister Kiana said, they always line about something. The war starts. The war starts, and all of a sudden, the pandemic. That's right. You got it. You don't even hear. They ain't talk about the pandemic. Every now and then they might say something about the pandemic, and that's on every news. You can't work. Now look how they're destroying people's lives now. Because many people have lost their homes. Families have been departed because of it. All of a sudden now they brush their hand with that. Well, that didn't work with Israel. We didn't kill enough of them all. Let's move to the next thing. Okay, what we got to create something now so we can get their eyes off of that while we create this. Deception. There's a scheme going on. There's a terrible smoke screen. But the Father said he's going to do nothing in this earth till he reveal it to his people, his prophet, first. We going to know what's happening in this place. If you standing in this word and in this truth, you think the Father going to let the enemy just come upon you and do you harm without you knowing it? Yeah, it does take a special kind of stupid to tamper with it. But see, when the enemy is in there, see, he'll employ people to be stupid for him. And that's what he has done. Those are his children. See, they're trying to promote this Luciferian gospel. Because that's all of it is. Well, I don't care what it is. If you are not serving the Most High, you serving a Luciferic gospel. Was it be Buddha? Was it be what do you call it? The Muslim? Was it be Christianity? I don't care what it is. All of it under Lucifer. All of the place of what of worship of deception. Because none of it, not one of them. See, they're looking for a savior. Our Savior's already come and gone. He coming back to make war with them that has done his people wrong. See, all those things, they're looking for a savior. They're looking for a sweet by and by. Yeah, Putin says sanctions on Russia is the equivalent of the declaration of war. Let them think he's joking. You right about that. The man is not joking. He been employed to do a job. I saw somewhere the other day where they said somebody in America, Putin don't know what he messing with. He messing with America. No, America don't know. America know what they're messing with. That's why they ain't sent no bomb over there. Because any other time they'd have sent somebody over there and dropped the bomb on them already to stop warring. Especially if they was already lining up in the streets and showing and tearing down buildings. And also it hit the capital city. That was declared war right there. When you go in and you hit the capital of the city, you already done declared war on that place. That's your calling card for you to go out and help your other allies. And you're right, he is coming back as a lion. Yeah, he let them do what he did because that was for us. That was for anybody that wanted him. He did that. But now when he come back, now he come as a warring lion. Now, and they keep saying what they're gonna shoot at him and all that they're gonna do when he show up. I want to see them do that. You see, America, what's left of it is going to be a third world. You right, a third world country, and that's right. It's gonna be that way because it's what the Bible says. If we went into poverty, they going into poverty. How you think they're going into poverty? How you think they're going to be in the lower state? It gotta happen. They're gonna be pillaging through the trash trying to find something. All these movies that you showing, they ain't showing. They're not just there to be showing you that they're just gonna happen. Oh no. Trust me, it's gonna happen, and they're gonna be witness to it. Oh, we just give y'all praise and glory today. I thank every one of you for joining us in our discussion. I'm telling you, I don't know what happened to that other part that I was looking at. It just went to it just disappeared. But nevertheless, anyway, but I do appreciate everyone for joining us today. And I thank y'all for hitting the like button on today. I just give y'all all glory and praise for my brothers and sisters. Hallelujah. Sister Judy said, after the truth of more peoples who took their jab are dying. You're right. They changed their propaganda tactic. They sure did. In a whole lot of them. See, that wasn't for us. See, they thought it was for us. They supposed to have done that, but their people ran into it because fear moves them. And our people wasn't going to take it either, but because of these here jacklegs that's in these synagogues, convince them that by taking it, you don't want to cause nobody else to do this. Now check this out. They're going up and down in the place every Sunday, and many of these sanctuaries, not one of their people died yet. Yeah, you're right. We're tired of being lied to too. Can you imagine when we found out we were the truth? the lineage of the true Israel. We're the ones that caught it off, and I kept reading this down. I said, wait a minute. And when I got into Deuteronomy, and I got into first of all, I first started reading it in Psalm 83. I read that chapter, the whole chapter. I said, wait a minute. And I got to the first few chapters. I said, whoa. I said, what in the world? And then when I got to Deuteronomy, that sealed it for me. Because see, I'm going to tell you, but it's not that way I had read Deuteronomy before. Trust me. But what sealed it, because all we focus on in Deuteronomy 28 was, you're blessed in the city and you're blessed in the field. Oh, they get the first 13 verses. Or they tell you about all the good stuff you never, ever read. They go no further. When I start reading the whole chapter, I said, wait a minute. I know who this is. I said, I don't know nobody did went through this but my people. And he started waking me up. And it really called it when I started reading in the book of 2 Chronicles. When I started reading, if my people who were called by my name, he stopped me and told me that was it for me. I had no more doubt. Wow. I'm telling you. And Sister Judy said, after the truth of more people who took the jab or died, they changed their propaganda, and yes, they did. It's something to know. I'm telling you, it's something. It blows your mind. But look at it this way, Sister Deborah. We got so many, our people still don't believe it. They still can't get with it. But I feel sorry for them because you wouldn't know what? For the day will come, and I pray that the Father wake them up too, and some of them will. But all of them is not going to wake up. And we have to be okay with that. But they will hear this divine truth because the Father, he is fair. He gonna let them hear the truth. They gonna hear it. Now it's up to them to receive it. And a lot of them don't want to do it because they've been lied to even about that. We in a cult. No, you the one in a cult. You the one being manipulated to worship these other gods. And I tell them, all you got to do is pick up the word and read it. A lot of the stuff that I found, you didn't find it now. With that said, y'all, I am so blessed. I thank y'all for every one of you that really have come forth in this Shabbat with us. I just give y'all glory for each and every one of you. I'm going to go down this line and make sure, because I don't want to miss no one. Not one that I want to miss. I'm telling you, in the world, ain't no reason for this to be clouding up, man. But y'all, we thank you, we praise you right now for each and every one of your people that join in this Shabbat. We pray your blessing upon them, upon their household. That wealth will be in their household. Wealth of your word, wealth of economics, wealth of health, wealth of wisdom, wealth of understanding. We give you all glory and all praises. We thank you and we glorify you. We thank you. Thank you for joining us today, Sister Deborah, Sister Deborah, our Sister Judith, our brother James, Noah. Hallelujah. We're not afraid anymore. Our biblical T, our Sister Kiana, and our Sister Sophia. We give y'all praise for you. And that's the truth. Together we are stronger. And we will not hold this world back. This word back. We have to tell it. We give him praise and glory. Yes, we shall overcome, family. You right. And we ain't gonna be out there rocking side to side with our hand up in the air either, singing. Come by y'all. That's my niece in New Jersey. She always, her timing is always so great. We give him glory and praise. We thank you. We thank you. We give him glory, give him praise. And we pray that your week be full of his blessings and wonders. That you'll begin to see the wonders of your Savior. These words are all coming to life. Are you ready? All praises to the Most High. Oh, yes. We give him glory, we give him praise, we give him honor. And with that, we're going to say shalom. Shabbat shalom. Y'all have a blessed rest of this day. I think Sabbath is over.
No, 7:20. 6:27.
All right. We not going to keep the silence because we are not ashamed of this gospel. And we are not afraid what may happen to us. We will be the voices. They tried to take the voices, but they couldn't break them. We give him glory. To y'all be praised, Sister Sophia. Shabbat shalom, you all.